My fiance and I are getting married. We've decided the wedding's gonna be child-free. No hate towards children, just to keep it more organized and contained. My brother Chris and his wife have a 3-year-old son who everyone calls a miracle or rainbow baby. He came after several failed pregnancies that lasted for years. When they found out that my nephew was included in the no children rule, they tried to convince me to make an exception for him. Chris told me his son is a miracle baby and his presence at the wedding will bring blessings for me and my fiancé. I refused and said no, the wedding is child-free. His wife kept sending my fiancé pics of my nephew when he was months old. I told them no, and to stop. My brother told me this might cause a rift in our relationship. I again said no and explained that the wedding is child-free. He asked again and pointed out how his baby is different since he's a rainbow, a miracle baby. I again said no and explained that the wedding is child-free. They brought it up when they visited at my home, and I knew they weren't going to stop. So I'd made flashcards in advance with the phrase, "The wedding is child-free, period," and pulled them out and started slowly showing them the flashcards one by one in this order. The wedding, with a sticker of bride and groom, is child, with a sticker of a baby, free, with a sticker of a sign, period, with a huge black dot sticker. They both were stunned. I asked if they get it now, and Chris had lost his shit. His wife had already grabbed her stuff and walked out. Chris called me an asshole for doing this and said that I disrespected him, his wife, and their son, who's my one and only nephew. He rushed out after we argued. My fiancé saw the whole thing and thought that it was funny, but my parents and Chris are livid beyond measure. They're telling everyone about the amount of disrespect and mockery I had displayed towards them, and I'm being told to fix it now. I am a 30-year-old man. I'm single and live alone in a house that I own. A few months ago, you know what happened, and my mom lost her job. So I decided to let her stay with me. I have a medical marijuana card and smoke every day. I knew my mom disliked weed, so I warned her before she moved in that I would be smoking weed daily and would not stop for her. She agreed and only asked that I smoke outside, which I thought was a relatively reasonable request. Weed has a strong smell and many people don't like it. At first, this worked out fine, but she started making remarks about how I should quit, etc. I mostly just ignored them and brushed them off. Then it evolved to her demanding that I quit, as if I were still a child she could issue orders to. I refused and told her that she can move out if she doesn't like it. She started crying and saying that I don't love her, I have a problem, etc. The next day, I come home from work to find her waiting for me. She explained that she had flushed my weed, a little less than an ounce, for my own good, and then demanded that I go to treatment. Well, predictably, I was furious, and not even really about not having the weed anymore. It is pretty cheap. I usually buy ounces for $125, and I can easily get more. It was about her total lack of respect for me. I'm an adult, own my own house, have a good job, and have approval from the state to legally purchase and possess marijuana. So someone I'm doing a huge favor for demanding that I stop and throwing out my stuff when I refused is extremely outrageous to me. No matter if she pushed me out of her vagina 30 years ago. Anyway, we argued about this for a while, and it became clear to me that she was not sorry at all and that she would probably do it again. So I told her she can't live with me anymore. I gave her a month, but she has already packed all her shit and drove to my brother's house a couple hours away. She obviously thinks I'm a huge asshole. So does my brother, but I think that's mostly because she is his problem now. My wife and I have been married 18 years. We have our 16-year-old daughter who has been dating a slightly shy, awkward young man for around 3 to 4 months now. He seems very nervous around my daughter and has admitted in a passing comment here and there to my wife and me that he can't believe she agreed to date him and he thinks she's way out of his league. He seems very respectful, just shy. My wife is usually an independent, awesome woman, and her ideals align closely with mine, particularly in terms of feminism and equality. We have both striven to raise our daughter to be as independent and capable as possible. Since my daughter has been dating this kid, my wife has changed considerably and has given our daughter advice that has left me with raised brows more than once. Some of the advice I've heard my wife give is, "Oh, it's cute for boys to pay for everything, especially in your first relationship." Or, "Oh, honey, don't worry about that. He can pay for you. If he really liked you, he would." And similar. I've tried to balance this out by telling my daughter straight away, two people in a partnership should be contributing equally. And my personal favorite, if someone asks if they can take you out to dinner, it's reasonable to expect them to pay. But if someone asks you to grab dinner with them, it's reasonable to split the payment. I figured that would be an easy way for a young person to understand the difference. However, I've noticed my daughter becoming more and more entitled with her boyfriend's money. They haven't been anywhere obviously since we're home, but the way she talks about him, "Oh, I'll just ask him to pay for X," leaves a bad taste in my mouth. She has also flippantly bragged and mentioned that she gets him to buy gift cards for her by mentioning her mother's advice. That is, "If you really liked me, you'd pay for X." I spoke to my wife privately and told her my concerns. She insists it's a rite of passage for girls, and it's cute that she should feel a guy is completely spoiling her. I told her that it's not cute for her to be thinking it's acceptable to view relationships as personal ATMs, and my wife became very angry with me and is now calling me an asshole with a lot of hostility.